Hello, my name is Russell Myers, independent for U.S. President for 2024. If you haven't heard about it, last week and into this weekend, there were a number of protests that took place in universities and colleges across the United States, including Yale, Columbia, and many others. Uh, as a result of this, Texas rolled out the National Guard uh, against a peaceful student protest. Hundreds of students and faculty that support the students' right to free speech were arrested. Congress, within seemingly hours, managed to come up with the Columbia Act, named after Columbia University, and you know, like using some inane acronym to name it such, but the result was very and intent was very clear. The purpose of these protests was support for Gaza, for a peace process in Gaza. Of course, the mainstream narrative has been that this was anti Semitic. First of all, let's address the term anti Semitic, which means you have to look into what Semitic means. Semitic means a person of Semite descent, genealogically. The fact is that Gazans, Palestinians, scientific studies on DNA have proven that the majority of Palestinians and Gazans are of Semite descent. Anti-Semitic does not mean anti-Jewish. I'm going to tell you right now, I support these students and their right to freedom of speech, their right to freedom of assembly, their right to protest. I am very proud of these students for standing up. 34,000 Gazans estimated have been killed. At least 7 or 8,000, 70 or 80,000 more have been injured in the conflict that has been going on in Gaza. And still, there's no sign of any peace process. And it's not just Gazans. Israel has also attacked Syria and Yemen and Egypt and Lebanon, and I'm sure and Iran, and I'm sure that list is a short one. This is the first peace movement that I have seen since the 1960s. And the first thing that happens is what? Laws get passed to limit your freedom of speech. The National Guard is called out. Kent State University does come to mind for many of us. And if you don't understand that, there were students at Kent State that were protesting against the Vietnam War. The National Guard was called out, and there were students that were killed, that were shot for expressing their freedom of speech against a war. And so it was fearful. It was extremely fearful for the National Guard to be called out in this instance. Luckily, so far, no one has died. These students are not protesting against the Jewish faith. They are protesting against the actions of the Israeli government. The government, the state, is enacting violence against its own people. To be very clear, I am in favor of a two-state solution, which means setting formal boundaries, recognizing Palestine and Gaza together as an actual nation, which gives them rights, including the right to self-defense. I know a lot of Americans do not know what conditions Palestinians have been living under for decades. Awareness is rising, but many Americans are still just oblivious. They will believe whatever they are told. Oh, another person that was arrested at one of these protests was Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein, which she is a person that I very much admire and respect. She has never backed away from controversy. She's been arrested several times, including trying to take part in the 2012 presidential debates. And she was arrested for doing this, even though she was a presidential candidate. So, my shout out to Jill Stein. Thank you for being there. I would have been at one of these protests if there had been one near me. But considering where I live, I talked to my daughter who's in university here in Alabama. Yeah, she didn't hear anything about a protest. I've looked at the lists of colleges and universities where there were protests, and there were none in Alabama. That's the mindset of Alabama. I don't believe that there has been a major protest that has taken place in Alabama since Martin Luther King in the 1960s. So this is no surprise. In Alabama, it's very much, a subservient mindset. You will do what you are told. You will not question it. You will not oppose it. This is your role. Your decisions are made for you, and you don't get to question it or anything like that. So there was nothing that I could get to without driving a number of hours, and I seriously just didn't have the time. But if one takes place near me, then I will be taking part in one of these protests. Anyway, so your freedom of speech is on the line. You express your freedom of speech against the authorized narrative, and this is what is going to happen. You will be arrested. You, as a student, you may be sanctioned. You may be thrown out of college because you are using your American right to freedom of speech. Is this what our country has come to? If you ask any of those students how they feel and what they're protesting against, I doubt that you're going to find any of them that are against the Jewish faith. Sure, there might be a few, but I doubt it. They're not protesting against the Jewish faith. I personally respect the Jewish people, and there are many people. Jill Stein is Jewish. Many Jewish Americans also oppose what the Israeli government is doing. So, this is something that we need to fight back against. I've been saying for years, how our rights are being taken from us. And where does it stop? Where does it stop? There have been previously laws that have been passed that if you support Palestine, you can be fired from government or university positions, and hundreds of people have lost their jobs. Professors and different people in government have lost their jobs for supporting the Palestinian people. Where does this stop? Where do your rights end? How many more rights have to be taken away before you're going to wake up? Again, the old prose from World War II comes to mind. First they came for the socialists. Well, in this case, first they came for the students. And then, who else is next? Who is next? Chances are good that this video will be taken down. There's a very good chance. But I'm still going to express my own view. There needs to be a peace process that is going on, and the United States needs to stop supporting the Israeli government until they are actively involved in a peace process, not just talks, actual actions. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this campaign, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day.